And we're back here at Geneva High School, and soon we will toss it over to PA announcer Jason Santo with tonight's lineups.
Good evening and welcome to Geneva Community High School for this evening's upstate 8 crossover matchup between the Neuqua Valley Wildcats and your Geneva Vikings. Now for the starting lineups. First, for Neuqua Valley, a 6'4" junior playing forward, number 22, Darian Biscoe. Starting guard, a 6' junior, number 24, Jabari Sandifer. Starting in forward position, a 6'2" senior, number 32, Tyler Sutton. Starting at center, a 6'4" junior, number 34, Pat Kenny. And starting at forward position, a 6'3" senior, number 44, Peter Catching. The Wildcats are coached by Todd Sutton. Now for your Geneva Vikings. Starting at guard, a 5'8" senior, number 3, Jay Kafer. Starting at guard, a 6'1" senior, number 11, Mark Cooper. Starting at guard position, a 5'11" senior, number 15, Phil Loren. Starting at forward position, a 6'3" senior, number 20, Matt Lamb. Starting at center, a 6'4" senior, number 40, Drew White. The Vikings are coached by head coach Bill Ralston. Now please rise, gentlemen, remove your caps as the Geneva Marching Band plays your national anthem.
Well, here we are, Geneva, for tonight's Neuqua Valley Geneva Vikings matchup. Jack, I know Coach Phil Rawson said, and we talked to him yesterday, he said one of the things they'll have to look for is really matching up and playing defense with one of their best players, Sutton. What else do they need to look for in playing against him?
Definitely guarding the three-point line. As I said before, in the open, he can shoot it from far away, so stopping Tyler Sutton will be key.
All right, it appears we're ready to go. We got Matt Lamb and Darian Biscoe for the tip. And Neuqua takes the early possession. Sandifer brings it up court. Kafer on the D. Over to Catchings. Down in the lane. Rebound by Phil Lorenz. And he takes it up the court for the Vikings' first possession of the game. Becker in deep.
Jim, not exactly the biggest lineup here for Geneva. I know Neuqua's not as big, but a pretty small lineup for Geneva to start.
We'll see how well they match up. Catching with the ball over to Sandifer. Just off. Filler runs with the rebound, takes it up court. And we got a foul on the court. Appears to be on number 44, Peter Catchings, for the first foul of the game.
Jim, also expect a lot of pressing and trapping full court. Both teams have been practicing for those types of strategies this week.
Drew White puts it in for the first points of the game. Now Neuqua looks to rebound here. Into number 34, Pete Kenny, for the first 2 points for Neuqua Valley. Phil Lorenz taking it back up court for the Vikings. Over to Jay Kafer. Jay Kafer drives, passes out to Phil Lorenz for 3, and he nails that one. Tyler Sutton looking to match up that. Tough play under the lane. Out to Drew White. And Drew sinks a 2-point shot.
It looks like that's Phil Lorenz down for the Vikings, Jim.
That was a hard hit he took. He looked like he landed pretty hard on his side.
Not exactly sure what's wrong, but it looks like he maybe his ankle or his knee.
Getting up pretty gingerly, Phil is able to get off under his own weight. Ryan Willing will be checking into the game for Phil.
Hopefully Phil can get better because, as I said before, guard play will be big to slow down this Neuqua Valley team.
And he's one of the people they had matched up on Sutton early in the game. Sandifer looking to set up a play. Back to Sandifer. Foul called on number 3, Jay Kafer, for the Vikings' first foul of the game.
It looks like the Vikings are starting out in a zone defense here early in this first quarter.
And they'll use that to kind of rotate and keep Sutton out of the lane. Kafer with the rebound. Over to Willing. And Willing brings it up the court. Drew White has the ball. Ooh. Catching's giving Matt Lamb a hard time. Kafer finds Becker under the hoop. Becker misses with the 2-point shot. Nikos Catchings has the ball. And Kafer steals the ball away. Willing brings the ball up court. Over to Kafer. Finding Willing in the lane. Out to Kafer. Drew White dishes it into Becker. Out to Willing. And Willing, looks like he was partially blocked right there. Neuqua takes the ball up court with number 32, Tyler Sutton. Catchings. Jabari Sandifer looking to drive the net. Oh, excuse me. No, that was Pat Kenny. He's fouled hard under the net. He will go to the line with 2 shots.
Foul on number 20, Matt Lamb hits his first, the team's second. At the line for Neuqua Valley, number 34, Pat Kenny will have 2 shots.
And Jim, as you can see, all seniors out here for the Vikings on the floor. Now 9 seniors are leaving after this year is done. Hopefully next year the juniors can step it up. And there's a strong sophomore class coming up too, with players like fast guard, athletic guard Cam Cook, and a freshman big man, Nate Navigato. So next year the Vikings are looking to even do better than this year.
Yeah, I believe they had a pretty good record, almost undefeated.
Yeah, the sophomore team is a very strong team, so let's hopefully hopefully the juniors can come out tonight and play just as good as these seniors.
Willing has the ball over to White. Willing looking to set up a play. And they're really setting the pace here.
Yeah, Coach Ralston really wanted to run the Vikings offense, their traditional offense. They wanted to move the ball around and get good looks.
Sanford takes it up court, over to Tyler Sutton. Over to Pat Kenny, around their arc.
Full change of players coming up, full change.
Out to Catchings, over to Sutton for three. Just off the rim. And put back for two for number 22, Darian Miskell. And he was fouled on the way up. He will get another shot for the three-point play.
Geneva foul number 40, Drew White.
The Vikings make a full transition here with all players coming in. We have number 5, Brendan Leahy, John Swiderski, Phil Lorenz.
It's great to see
Connor Chapman.
Excuse me, Jim, sorry. It's great to see Phil Lorenz back after that hard fall earlier in the game.
We'll look to see if he can, see if that affected him in any way. Ben Rogers in the game now, taking the ball up court, and stolen away. Catchings with the ball, over to Sutton, and Swiderski with the block. Jabari Sanford inbound. Out to Catchings. Leahy with the rebound. And Leahy's one of the Vikings' best players point-wise.
Of course, Jim, he can play inside and he can shoot the ball outside. He's a very diverse player and one of the Vikings' best.
Leahy over to Chapman. Rogers underneath, out to Phil. Swiderski looking for Rogers underneath. Back out to Chapman. Swiderski in the... Foul called on Neuqua Valley. Looks like it was called on number 22, Darian Miskell.
Neuqua Valley foul on number 22, Darian Miskell. That's his first, the team's second.
John Swiderski will be inbounding the ball for the Vikings. Out to Rogers, over to Leahy. Leahy into the net deep, and he puts it in for two. He will have the chance for a three-point play. He answered right back there.
Yeah, Jim, Coach Ralston was saying that Leahy is great at drawing contact, but also finishing the play. So hopefully he can do that a lot tonight.
Sanford taking the ball up court for the Wildcats. Looks like number 3, Jesse Romero-White has come in for the Wildcats. Out of bounds, still down, ball still down with the Wildcats. And a quick inbound to number 22, Darian Miskell, who puts it in.
Miskell's shown already tonight he's got good length, and he's got a couple jump shots over the Geneva defenders.
Lorenz taking it, dishing it out to Trimble. And that's just a bit off. Out of bounds, Wildcat basketball. And Jack, the Vikings were lucky to get a home game for this crossover matchup. This game was only decided on Wednesday night.
Yes, Neuqua is record-wise better than the Vikings, but the Vikings have shown they can beat top teams this year. And as you see, traveling right there. So Vikings will get possession. But as I was saying, the Vikings have beaten some good teams, like Elgin very early in the season. So here we are back in Geneva High School for this one.
Leahy into Trimble. Lorenz posting up Leahy, who puts, just a bit up. And Sanford bringing it up court hard. Out to Romero White. Charging call on ball to the Vikings.
Offensive foul on number 22, Gary Miskel. His second, the team's fourth.
Willing will inbound the ball.
Number 23.
Number 23, Ian Welsh, coming into the game for the Wildcats.
Excuse me, number 23, Ian Walsh. Number 5, RJ Miller. And number 40.
Willing will bring it up court to set up a play for the Vikings. Trimble out to Leahy, over to Lorenz. Lorenz setting up the pick. And Lorenz Elwin with a wild shot there. It's not what you want to be looking for.
Coach Ralston wasn't happy with that one.
And Sutton in, just misses. We hear Coach Ralston calling for the rebounding over there. He really wants his team to keen in on the rebounds.
Yeah, we talked to him yesterday, Jim, and that was one of his keys. I know Neuqua Valley is not the biggest team, so he said centers and forwards like Connor Chapman, the junior, and Drew White, a senior, they really need to pick up their board play to help the Vikings get a win tonight.
And Geneva's big man, Connor Chapman, is only listed as a forward, but he really is big underneath.
Yep, a 6'5", am I correct? Yes, 6'5", junior. He is a big boy down low.
Willing looking to set up a play outside. Leahy has been big in key moments of every game this season, it seems like, so they'll be looking to set him up. Oh, Trimble with the close layup, just rimmed out.
Despite the miss, I think Coach Ralston was really happy with that possession. They had great passing, and he'll be looking for those open shots all night.
And we talked to Willing yesterday, and he said they'd be rotating around on Sutton. Looks like the Renz is on him now. Ball outside with Catchings. And this is unlike what Coach Ralston said. They said they'd really like to drive the ball hard. Outside number 23, Ian Welsh for 3.
3 seconds left here.
Willing puts up a last-second shot and just missed the shot at the end of the first quarter. After one quarter here in Geneva, we have a score of Neuqua Valley 11, Geneva 10. Back here at Geneva High School, Jim Corker alongside Jack Housingay, and Jack, they kept it close in the first quarter, the Vikings did.
Yes, Jim, they did. Tyler Sutton, as we said before, was a key player for the Wildcats, but he's been shut down by some great defense by the Vikings. The Vikings could have a lead, but a couple of missed shots have prevented them from the lead, but hopefully those will fall later.
And the Vikings will start the second quarter with the ball. Willing outside, finding Swiderski. The defense is, for the Neuqua Valley, looks like they're really pressing right now.
Yes, very physical team.
Willing out, dishing it out to Lorenz. Willing up for 3, and that's short. Out of bounds, Wildcat basketball. Sanford will take it up court for the Wildcats.
Great D there by Chapman down low.
Oh, Swiderski takes it away from Jesse Romero-White, and Lorenz brings it up court for the Vikings. Geneva's big man, Chapman, dishes to Becker. Becker with the head fake, over to Swiderski. Swiderski around to Willing. Willing into Chapman, out to Willing. That was a little sloppy there. But, Out of bounds again, back over to the Wildcats.
That's what I was saying earlier, Jim. Hopefully these layups, the Vikings are getting great shots down low, but hopefully they'll be able to fall starting in this second quarter.
Starting about now, right?
Yes, of course.
See some drops. 23 in. Welsh sinks to 3 for the Wildcats. That's 2 in a row from the corner for Welsh. The Vikings look to respond here. Rogers. Over to Chapman, looking to set up a play. Swiderski in tight. And he, just banked off the rim. Willing playing high, tight D. And looks like the foul will be caught on Chapman underneath. Blocking foul. Jabari Sandiford will go to the line, shooting 2. Very nice stroke there for Sandiford. And in every game, free throws are always key.
Of course, Jim. The Vikings, Coach Ralston told us yesterday that they definitely want to get to the line, the Vikings, because free points are always a plus.
And we haven't mentioned that we talked to Neuqua Valley's coach before the game, and he didn't really have much of a game plan.
Yeah, considering this game was announced on Wednesday, there wasn't much to scout, but he said, really, the Wildcats are just going to run their offense and play how they've been playing all year.
Willing for 3, and he drains the shot right there. That pulls the Vikings to within 3. Welsh with the ball. Sandiford for 3, just off the rim. Catching's underneath. And Willing's taking it back up court. Over to Willing, who just made the 3. White into Leahy, and that'll go out of bounds again. A lot of wasted possessions here. It looks like ball keeps going out of bounds for the Vikings.
A little off sync, but hopefully this can be corrected.
Lorenz playing a full court press, interrupting that pass. Welsh will inbound the ball for the Warriors again. Finds Sutton, will bring it up court. Lorenz is doing exactly what they said they would, pressing him. He finds a little bobble. Timeout taken by the Wildcats. That will be their first. They'll have 4 remaining. Look, 30-second timeout. And it's lovely to see that we're being dazzled here tonight with Geneva's great pep band, with conductor Mr. Maxwell. Always nice to have them in the building.
Yeah, of course, they bring another fact to this brilliant home crowd.
Out of bounds remains with the Wildcats. Returning for the Wildcats, Darian Miskell. He's one of their big men. He'll look to be a presence underneath. Catchings with the basketball. Jabari Sandifer for three.
Sandifer for 3.
Willing over to Lorenz, looking to answer. Lorenz at the free throw line, and he drains a 2-point shot. That brings the Vikings to within 4 with 4:30 remaining in the second quarter.
Still sticking in the zone defense for the Vikings here, Jim.
Miskell over to Sutton. Sutton takes a shot off the rim. Willing brings the ball up court for the Vikings. Willing over to Lorenz. Lorenz back across to Leahy. In tight to White. Oh, looking to find Lorenz underneath. Couldn't quite find him. Ball out of bounds off the Wildcats. Looks like Ben Rogers will be inbounding the ball for the Vikings. Willing setting up a play up top. White now with the ball. He finds Willing. Lots of perimeter passing for the Vikings. Leahy looks to drive the ball in. Out to Rogers, kicks it back out to White. Oh, finds Rogers underneath.
Beautiful
And the foul! He puts it in! If he makes this free throw, that'll bring the Vikings to within 1. Rogers, one of those guys looking to play sports athletics in the future. He'll be going to Cornell next year, Jack.
Yes, not only an amazing athlete, but an amazing student.
Sandifer over to Sutton. Sutton looking for Sandifer, who drains another 3. That corner has been hot for the Wildcats, shooting the 3-point shot. Rogers takes it in off the rim, and Leahy with the putback. Sutton to answer, and he drains another 2.
Now Sutton did make that one, but we have kept him under control, which should be a good sign for Coach Ralston.
Just need to control that perimeter shooting. Leahy looks to bank it off. No, but yeah, he won't get that one. Sandifer bringing it in tight. Rebound, Kenny. Lorenz slows the pace. Over to Willing. Rogers for 3. Oh, traveling violation called on the Vikings. Ball will go back over to the Wildcats.
See now, Jim, this style of play I don't think is in the Vikings' favor there. They're running all up and down the court. Slowing the pace down should help the Vikings out a little bit here with about 2 minutes left to go in the half.
Back over the corner with Sutton. He has not made a 3-point shot yet. In and out. Foul going to be called on Sutton right there. Holding foul on Leahy.
Legal valid foul on number 32, Tyler Sutton, his first, the team 7.
The Vikings are in the bonus. Leahy will come down to shoot a 1-and-1.
Number 5, Brendan Leahy, will have 1 shot.
Leahy drains the first one. Mike Trimble coming back for the Vikings. He'll look to be another big man underneath. Leahy with the second free throw. Nothing but net yet again.
And here's that press we were talking about earlier, Jim.
Exactly what Coach Ralston was saying yesterday. Out of bounds off Leahy. Ian Welsh will inbound the ball to number 24, Jabari Sandifer. Sandifer looks to bring it up every time. Oh, Lorenz almost with the steal. Sandifer recovers, and that shot's off. Right back out to Sandifer. Catching setting up a play over to Sandifer. Back over to Catchings. Jabari Sandifer off the pick. Pat Kenny with the shot. They're going to call that off Leahy, it looks like, out of bounds remaining with the Warriors. Sandifer inbounds underneath. Oh, Lorenz almost steals it away. Out to Sutton for three. And that's what we've been looking for all game. He just nailed his first three.
That three-point shooting has Neuqua on top pretty much most of this game, Jim.
Lorenz almost looked to walk with the ball there. White over to Willing. Willing with the head fake, drive it into the net. And he puts it in with a nice move. Under 50 seconds remaining in the half. Sutton with the ball, over to Catchings. Into Welsh. And a foul will be called on there. Looks like that foul will be called on Leahy.
Number 5, Brendan Leahy, his first, the team's 7th. Zone line, number 23, Ian Welsh, where he'll shoot 1.
Welsh will shoot 1, 2.
A little confusion, it seems like, whether it should be a two-shot foul or a 1-and-1.
Yeah, they're looking to decide if that was on the floor. And yes, they do decide to go with it as a floor foul.
A 1-and-1, Jim.
So ball goes back to Geneva, and Willing will inbound the ball. Lorenz will bring it up court. Trimble looking to set up a play over to Willing. Trimble setting up an offense. Over to Willing. Willing passes. Oh, ball almost stolen. That'll be out of bounds on the Warriors. Ball will remain down here on the Vikings side of the court.
Sandifer almost ran us over there, Jim.
Yeah, Ralston said they weren't very big guys, but
they sure are fast.
Neuqua's got some big guys on their team. I don't know what tape he saw. Catchings with the steal, down underneath, and Ian Welsh with the two-point layup. Leahy with the last second attempt. But at halftime, Neuqua Valley has the lead, 29, Geneva 24.
Overall, Jim, I think the half was pretty good for the Vikings. Neuqua, as expected, was great shooting the ball. Geneva has missed some opportunities, but hopefully that will change in the second half.
And Jack, they've shut down Sutton. What do they look for in the second half?
I think we still need to key on Sutton, but also I think we should turn our attention to Jabari Sandifer. He's hit a couple of big shots over some great defense. So hopefully maybe keying on him will slow this Wildcat team down.
Sandifer and also Welsh has made some key shots for the Warriors.
Yes, that corner has been looking really hot for them. So hopefully the second half will be better.
We'll be back shortly with an interview with Principal Rogers of Geneva High School. And we're back here at Geneva. I'm here with GHS principal, Mr. Tom Rogers. And Mr. Rogers, we have this brand new Viking Sports Network here at Geneva. What opportunities do you look forward to that in the future?
Oh, many opportunities. First of all, obviously showcasing the great talents that we have, not only here on the basketball court, but in other sports as well as we move forward with this project. I also think it's great to showcase the talents that all of you students have in this great TV studio of ours. It's going to give you a great learning experience. And then I love the fact that our community is going to get to see our kids. I know there are a lot of people in town and now with the internet all across the country who want to see the talents of our Geneva High School students who are going to get that opportunity by tuning into our games on the internet.
And I know this is our first game. We're a little bit rough, I think, but it's fun so far. How do you think students will jump at this opportunity?
You mean the opportunity to broadcast the games? I do. I think it'll catch on like wildfire. I know how talented all of you folks are, so you're not giving yourself enough credit. I'm sure you're doing a great job. I've seen all the products that have come out of our TV studio, so I'm really looking forward to the broadcast of tonight's game.
And I know many of our students are looking forward to it. We've heard a lot. And about the game now, but it's been a tough first half. They're only down by 5. What's your prediction for the second half?
I like our chances. We're getting a lot of good shot opportunities. The ball's just not falling in for us right now. So we'll turn that around in the second half and make it our game.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Rogers. And we'll be back with the second half very shortly.
All right, we good? All right, good work.
And we're back here in Geneva, ready to start the second half. The Wildcats will begin with the basketball. Number 32, Sun, will inbound.
It's going to be really important to see how the Vikings come out defensively and offensively and see what kind of adjustments they've made.
Jack, what do you think Coach Ralston's speech was about?
I think it was just mainly focusing on just finishing your baskets or just finishing your shots, playing tough D, and just doing the basics, as we said before, because hopefully those can lead to a win tonight.
And as he said yesterday, sticking the fundamentals will be key.
Yes.
Now the Vikings have the basketball now with Lorenz. Over to Willing. Out to Swiderski, over to Leahy. Chapman finds Swiderski, cross court. And Swiderski posts up, just off. Willing with the rebound. Leahy driving in, just off the rim, bounce back. Oh, Swiderski almost with the steal.
Good hustle to start the second half.
Catchings. Off Catchings. And the Vikings quickly get the ball back. Willing bringing the ball up for the Vikings. Big man Chapman out Leahy looking to set up a bit of a play over to Willing. And they're really setting a pace here. Willing driving in, and he puts up a little floater. That's just off. And Sandefur just off with the layup.
Not too many adjustments here to start off the second half for Geneva offensively. Still running their perimeter passing offense.
And 2 minutes into the second half, there's still no scoring yet. Wildcats are still up by 5. Sandefur up to Sutton. Back out to Sandefur. Sandefur's been their main play setup, man.
Main scorer as well.
Finding it in deep, and looked like Leahy got the block there. But a foul will be called.
Geneva foul on number 15, Phil Lorenz, his second, the team's first.
Lorenz now has 2 fouls. Still no foul trouble for the Vikings.
But even if they do get into foul trouble, Jim, there's plenty of guards on this Geneva team that they can rotate in to defend these good shooters for the Neuqua Valley Wildcats.
Geneva seems to have a pretty deep lineup. Pat Kenny makes both shots. Lorenz looking to bring the ball up court. It looks like the Wildcats have started to press a little bit.
Getting right onto those Geneva guards around the perimeter.
Now, the Vikings did practice the press in practice the other day. We watched them do that.
Yes, it's all about passing when it comes to the press. They need to get the ball around, keep moving it, and hopefully finding good shots.
Oh, Swiderski with a nice dish to Leahy, who puts it in for 2. Very nice pass there underneath the hoop. Swiderski with the rebound.
Great D there by the big man Chapman.
Rogers taking it up the court, quick but slow down. Chapman back over to Leahy. Lorenz looks like he's looking for Chapman underneath. Oh, wow, and Chapman with a huge elbow. Looked like he bull rushed him.
Well, Chapman does play football, so what can you expect?
He is their big man underneath. He's no lanky Leahy. They're both great shooters, however.
Sorry, Jim. As you were saying about Leahy and Chapman earlier, they both can do a lot. I mean, Leahy, as we mentioned earlier, great shooting the ball, and Chapman, obviously, a presence underneath the basket. So with these two guys out on the floor, it looks like the Vikings should have a good advantage here.
Their Geneva's height is what it seems to be like. With a double team on Lorenz, with a foul called.
Number 24, Jabari Sandefur, his first, the team's first.
Rogers inbounds the ball to Lorenz. Chapman found underneath. Looked like Sandefur got in between that one.
Neuqua Valley foul, number 24, Jabari Sandefur, his second, the team's second. It sends to the line for the Vikings, number 44, Connor Chapman.
2 straight fouls on Sandefur back to back. That'll send Connor Chapman to the line, and he makes the first shot.
Sandefur's being checked out of the game. Hopefully the Vikings can attack Neuqua now that their hottest shooters now going to the bench.
Trimble into the game for the Vikings. The Wildcats have number 5, R.J. Miller, bringing it up court. Little sloppy hands right there. That plug was shot blocked by Willing, but they called it a foul.
It looked like that was all ball, Jim. I didn't know what the ref was seeing there.
Could have been called over the back. He kind of reached over. Catching's at the line. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Jim. Nevertheless, 2 shots for Catchings, off on the first one.
Sandifer back into the game right away. Catchings drains the second of 2 free throws. Sandifer not only brings that good offense, but also brings a tight defense on Willing. Trimble with a sloppy pass, looking to connect with Willing. Just throws it straight out of bounds. Sutton will bring the ball up this time for the Wildcats. Rogers guarding him.
Both teams in the in-your-face type of defense here coming out in the second half, really tight.
Well, they're going to call a tie ball on that. Excuse me, a jump ball.
Jump ball will be Vikings basketball.
Possession error over to the Vikings. Oh, they're going to Rogers for a home run shot. Oh, and that is rejected by number 25, Elijah Robinson. The Wildcats big man at 6'5" gets all of that ball. Luckily, that ball went straight out of bounds. Ball remained with the Vikings. Rogers inbound underneath. Sloppy bounce pass. Chapman getting trampled underneath.
Geneva foul, number 44, Connor Chapman. That's his fourth. The team's 4. Checking into the lineup for the Vikings, number 40, Drew White.
Sandifer brings the ball up court. Catchings over to Sandifer. Sandifer Willing with a nice rebound. He's driving up court. Dishes out to Trimble. Back out to White. Leahy with the ball now. Across the court, and Trimble with the 3. Just off. Sandifer driving up the court quick. And he with a nice move. That was a very nice layup by Sandifer.
Not only can he shoot outside, but he can finish well at the rim.
That puts the Wildcats up by 6 with 1:50 left in the third quarter. White tries to look for Leahy under the net, but that is stolen. There's a foul on the court. This will be a shooting foul for number 25, Elijah Wood, who will go to the line for 2 shots. But before that, full timeout taken by the Vikings. We'll be right back shortly. And we're back here at Geneva. The score with about 1:30 left in the third quarter. The Wildcats have the lead 34-28.
He'll have 2 shots.
Elijah Robinson at the line with 2 free throws. Rims off the first one.
Now, Jim, as sloppy as you said before, the Vikings have been playing. They're only down 6 points, and hopefully going into this fourth quarter, they can pick up their fundamentals, as we said before the game, because it's not that it is a close game right now. There's no doubt about it. Definitely, they can come back and make this even tighter.
And we are having a little bit of technical difficulties with the clock. Oh, no, now it's back. 1:35 left in the third quarter. They're going to call a foul on number 3, Jesse Romero-White. Becker to inbound the ball. He passes it in to Willing, who dishes it quickly over to Swiderski. Lorenz over to Becker, over to Willing. Swiderski at the top of the key. Now back out to White. Swiderski looking to move the ball around, but with another. They're just not connecting with their passes very well. It's a little disappointing to watch. Leahy back into the game for the Vikings. Phil pickpocket on Sutton, and he'll drive in with an easy layup.
Under a minute here in the third quarter. Hopefully the Vikings can close out on a little bit of a run here, Jim.
Romero White out to Miskell. Sandover has the ball. Over to Sutton. Back to Sandover, who drives in. Out to Sutton. Takes a 3 from the corner. That's short. Rebound Wildcats. And Leahy forces a jump ball. Ball will remain down on this side of the court with the Wildcats. Miskell's 3 is off. Willing up the court quick to Leahy. Looks at a shot. Ball is knocked out of bounds with 6 seconds remaining.
A bucket here, would be huge for the Vikings going into this last quarter.
Willing into Leahy. Oh, and that tips off his arm. With 2 seconds left, the ball will go back over to the Wildcats. Pat Kenny will return to the game for the Wildcats. And Kenny will inbound the ball. With the last second shot, Ketching's shot is just off. After 3 quarters, Neuqua Valley still has a 4-point lead, 34-30, going into the final quarter. And we're here for the fourth quarter. the Neuqua Valley Vikings game. The Wildcats are up by 4 points, and they will begin with the basketball. Oh, excuse me, the Vikings will begin with the basketball. Willing will be inbounding to Lorenz. Lorenz looking to set up a play out to Leahy. Leahy dishes it to Swiderski, over to Willing. Head fake, out to Swiderski. Swiderski passes Lorenz. Willing looking for White underneath, and a foul called. That foul will be called on the Wildcats. That'll be Kenny's second foul. Swiderski to inbound for the Vikings.
Hopefully Neuqua Valley's fouls can pile up here and the Vikings can get on the line. Haven't gotten too many shooting fouls today. And there's another foul.
Yeah, holding foul looks like it'll be called on Peter Ketchings, number 44 for the Wildcats.
Neuqua Valley foul number 44, Peter Ketchings, his third, the team's fourth. He's on the line for the Wildcats, number 3, Jesse Romero White.
Leahy looking for Willing, who takes it back out. Leahy looking around, looking to set up a play. Sandifer's guarding him, over to White. Leahy in the corner, bringing it around. Cross court, quick passing. Into Leahy, in the corner with the three, and that's just off. Another rebound, offensive. And White puts it in for 2. That pulls the Vikings in within 2 points here in the fourth quarter.
That's exactly what Coach Ralston wants, Jim. Movement, and there's a charge. It looks like.
I believe they called that a block.
Excuse me, Jim.
On Geneva.
But as I was saying earlier, that's exactly what Coach Ralston wants for his players. Moving the ball around the perimeter and getting an easy shot and an easy basket underneath the basket.
Miskell will try to complete the three-point play, and he does. And Leahy with a nice layup underneath the net. Sutton over to Sandifer. Romero White with the ball. Kenning with a flailing shot. Out to Sandifer for 3, and that rims out. Rebound by Drew White, and Willing will bring the ball up court.
Good move by Willing there. He was looking to pass it up court, but smartly, intelligently.
Yeah, it's a travel on Leahy. Picked up his pivot foot.
As I was saying, Willing is doing a great job at point, looking to slow down the pace for the Vikings.
Chapman and Becker back in for the Vikings. Sandifer brings the ball up court for the Wildcats. Sutton with the ball, and he pops a quick 3. That's off. Lorenz brings the ball up court, looking to drive. Ball out to Willing. Puts it into Becker. Leahy with the rebound, and Becker puts up another shot. And they get the out-of-bounds call. Ball will remain with the Vikings. Becker to inbound. Looking for Chapman underneath. They're going to call the foul on that, it looks like.
Looks like we have an injury.
Sandifer looks like he's down.
Not exactly sure what's hurting him. Maybe his knee.
He got up pretty quick. Looks like he's not hobbling around at all.
Maybe just the wind knocked out of him.
A little bit of confusion on what the foul was there. Drew White goes back in to replace Chapman, but the foul was called on that in that last play.
Taking in the line for Neuqua Valley, number 5, RJ Miller.
Coach Ralston is still questioning the call.
Still a close one, Jim. 3-point game.
Sandefur did come out after that, after the was down.
It did seem like a pretty hefty collision.
No call on Willing there. Becker takes the ball away. 2-on-1. Willing got too creative there.
A little too fancy, but it will remain Vikings basketball, so.
Yeah, the around the back stuff, we could save that for a blowout. Becker out to Willing. Willing looking to set up the play over to Becker. Willing into Leahy. Quick passes. And Leahy with a nice delayed move puts it in for a 2-point layup.
Jim, that was a beautiful finish by the rim by Leahy.
Adjusted in midair. Leahy on Marrero White, and Leahy with another steal. Goes in for another 2-point layup. And that brings the Vikings to it. That gives the Vikings the lead by 1 with under 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. That is the Vikings' first lead, maybe of the game, at least since the first quarter. Sutton looked to answer. That three is short. Sutton again. Again a short shot. And number 3, Romero Might, answers with the layup. Quick transition of points there in the last minute. Lorenz with the ball, finds Willing underneath. And they're going to call a foul on Romero White, it looks like. Excuse me, that was RJ Miller.
Sorry, Jim. Going back to that last Neuqua Valley possession, Sutton missed 2 shots, so it seems like throughout this entire game, we've shut down Tyler Sutton.
Willing to shoot 2 here. Nothing but net on the first. And here comes Sandefur back into the game. Willing to shoot the second of 2 shots. That pulls the Vikings to within, are ahead by 1. 40-39 with 4:13 left in the fourth quarter. Vikings with a full court press, and the Reds almost with another steal. Timeout taken by the Wildcats.
Again, we see that press by the Vikings. Hopefully, they can continue their little run here to finish out this fourth quarter and hopefully come away with a win.
The Wildcats take a 30-second timeout. Out of the timeout, the Wildcats inbound the ball into Sandefur. Sandefur brings it up the court. Quick passing out to Romero White. The Vikings are playing tight D now. That pass is tipped by Rogers. Oh, finds Sutton in the corner. Sutton off again. Leahy forces a jump ball. Ball will stay with the Wildcats. Sutton in the corner, finds Kenny underneath. Kenny puts up a wild shot. Lorenz with a rebound.
This is the stage of the game here. Excuse me, Jim, sorry. This is the stage of the game here where I think the Vikings really need to slow the tempo, play their type of game, and score points that way.
Play has quickly picked up in the last minute. Lorenz and he gets fouled on the way. He'll go to the line with 2 shots. That foul was called on number 32, Tyler Sutton. For the rest of the game, the Vikings will be in the bonus. Phil goes to the line for 2 shots right here. Bounces around, but it goes in. That puts the Vikings up by 2. Ball bounces off the rim. Sandifer bringing the ball up for the Wildcats. Over to Miskell. Miskell to Kenny. And Darian Miskell with a 2-point layup. Game tied at 41. Drew Wright looking to set up a play. Finds Willing in the corner. Willing underneath. They had to call a foul on that one. Looked like number 22, Darian Miskell, was holding them all the way. That'll send Willing back to the line to shoot 2. Swiderski will come into the game to replace Rogers.
And Jim, you got to agree, this fourth quarter is way better at attacking the rim and getting these foul calls here for the Vikings.
As for the Vikings, they've been on their game this quarter. Willing gets a little help from the rim there.
Home court advantage.
And sinks a second. That'll put the Vikings up by 2 with 2:41 left. No pressure coming up the court on this time. And Willing knocks the ball out. Ball will remain with the with the Wildcats. Miskell to inbound the ball to Sandifer. Sandifer back to Miskell. Miskell just takes the open 3 and drains it. That puts the Wildcats back up by 1. Swiderski looking to move the ball up court. Timeout called by Coach Ralston for the Vikings.
Exactly what we were talking about earlier, Jim. The Neuqua Valley Wildcats are all about team speed and great shooting, and they've proved it here tonight against the Geneva Vikings.
And at this timeout, that leaves us with 2:17 remaining in the game. Jack, what does it look like the Vikings need to do to take back the lead and hopefully secure the game?
I think it all comes down to playing great defense and doing what they've been doing on offense. Just play their offense, and hopefully the D can lock down on these shooters for the Wildcats. But besides that, this fourth quarter has been great for the Vikings. Hopefully it continues all the way to the end.
Willing will inbound the ball for the Vikings. To the Wrens, back to Willing. Willing will take the ball up court. Sandifer guarding him. Over to the Wrens. Willing looked to find Swiderski at the top. And Swiderski puts it in for 2. That puts the Vikings up back by 1.
Lead changes like crazy here in the fourth quarter, Jim. It's looking like a tight one all the way to the end.
Wild pass to Miskell. Back to Sandifer. Sandifer drives to his right, back into the hoop. And they'll give that ball back to the Vikings. I believe they called that foul on number 34, Pat Kenny. That'll be his third foul. And the Wrens goes to the line. to shoot a 1-and-1. Rogers will return for the Vikings here, replacing Becker. Phil swishes the first free throw.
Phil Lorenz, Ryan Willing really coming up big here by making these free throws.
We said at the very beginning of the game it was going to be key that each team make free throws, and Geneva has done that. That has kept them in the game.
Now a 3-point lead here for the Vikings.
Sanford finds Sutton in the corner, and he drains it to tie the game at 47. That's the same corner he's been shooting all game. Game tied at 47 with a minute 18 left. Leahy to White. Whiteley cross court to Willing. Willing drives out to Lorenz, who dishes to Rogers. Willing finds Rogers underneath, who turns, puts it up and in for two.
Beautiful shot there, Jim. Beautiful shot.
Nice turnaround shot by Rogers. Sandiford brings the ball back up court for the Wildcats. The crowd has just not gotten into the game, it seems like. Oh, they're going to call Willing with a foul. Reach around on Darian Miskell. He'll go to the line with a 1-and-1. 46.2 seconds remaining. Darian Miskell at the line with his first free throw. And he misses with the first shot. He's shooting two here because it was called a shooting foul. Drains the second. 49-48. Ball into Rogers. Back to Willing.
As we expected, press here by the Wildcats.
Lorenz bringing up court. Dishes it out. Back to Rogers. And Miskell's called with a foul. That'll send Leahy to the line with a double bonus. He'll be shooting two. Leahy sinks the first one. Money as always. Number 3, Romero White coming back in for the Wildcats. Leahy's second shot puts the Vikings up by 3. 33 seconds remaining.
Very clutch, Jim. Very clutch.
Sandiford to Romero White. Romero White looking for Miskell. Miskell with a deep three. That's just off. Willing with the rebound. And Romero White is forced to foul with 17.2 seconds remaining. And the crowd's going nuts right now. That'll send Willing, I believe, to the line to shoot two more. That makes it a 2-possession game. Vikings now up by 4. Just off for the second one. Vikings still up by 4. 15 seconds left. Wildcats will be looking for a quick play right here. Sandiford bringing the ball up court. Quick three. That ball bounces around and goes in. 5.8 seconds remaining. Geneva keeps a 1-point lead.
Now, Jim, I think it's very important for the Vikings to keep their composure, keep their poise. They've been executing very well down the stretch here this fourth quarter. So hopefully they can play like they've been playing and come out of here with a win.
This will be a tough inbound. What kind of play do you look for them to run to get the ball at least into play?
I think they're going to be looking more towards Willing, maybe Lorenz, maybe Leahy, someone that's been or proved that they can shoot good free throws down the stretch, because it is only a 1-point game, and plenty of time, 6 seconds is a lot here for a basketball game. So look for the pass to go to one of our good free throw shooters.
Yeah, Wildcats will be looking for a quick foul coming right out of the timeout.
The worst thing the Vikings here could do is to turn the ball over. So the inbounder, whoever it may be, has to be very careful and smart with the basketball.
The Vikings do have 2 timeouts left at their disposal. That could come in key to avoid any violation. Willing will be the inbounder. Wildcats will mostly be showing their crest, and quickly into Leahy. Quick foul by Catchings. That gives him, I believe, 4 fouls.
That foul moved the clock all the way down to about 4 seconds here.
Leahy could make this a 3-point game by making both of these. (53-51) after the first free throw made by Leahy. Leahy makes it a 3-point game, and with 4.1 seconds remaining, a timeout is taken by the Wildcats. No, excuse me, by the Vikings. This will be a 30-second timeout. Jack, what do you look for the Vikings to set up defense here?
Now, Jim, obviously they will have all their defenders around the arc of the 3-point line. I'm not sure if the strategy is to foul and put the pressure on them to make free throws, or if they're just going to let them shoot a Hail Mary type of shot here for the win, or for the tie, excuse me.
There is always that danger in fouling with a far shot. They could potentially end up with a 3-point or 3 free throws at the line, and we wouldn't want that.
If it was up to me, Jim, I think I'd just play it straight up and hope for the best here.
There is only 4.1 seconds remaining. The Vikings are up 54-51. The Wildcats number 34, Pat Kenny, will be inbounding the ball. It appears they will be going for a home run pass. With a baseball throw, Sandiford looks for Sutton, who bobbles the ball, and they call it out of bounds. Out of bounds, sticking with the Wildcats with 0.9 seconds remaining.
Now, Jim, it will have to be a Hail Mary type of shot.
Sandiford will look to inbound, look for something to post up around the 3-point arc. They can't get that, and the guy will end the game! And the Vikings, with clutch defense, win the game 54-51 over the Neuqua Valley Wildcats.
Unbelievable game, Jim. Unbelievable.
Vikings came back great from halftime. They were down 5. What made it possible for them to come back?
Jim, I think it was all the fourth quarter. Third quarter, they came out, obviously didn't play the game they wanted to, but the fourth quarter was all about attacking, getting to the basket and drawing fouls and getting easy buckets. And I think just the execution down the stretch was really the key factor for this Viking win tonight.
It seemed like Leahy seemed to make every free throw down the stretch. How pivotal was that?